recap of today's game, including highlights from the biggest moments. Listen to Mike Shilt's post-game comments. Plus, we'll bring you today's play of the game. From the Padres Radio Network, here's Sam Levitt.
First pitch, Xander swings, sends it in the air to left field and deep. Lyle is back on the warning track.
Yes,
at
sir.
the wall, gonna go! Grand slam, Xander Bogaerts. Second slam of the season for the Padres. They have both come this weekend, and with nobody out in the top of the first inning, the Padres lead it 4-0.
A grand bogey blast sets the tone in the Padres' 8-1 win over the Washington Nationals in this series finale. Padres take the rubber game of this 3-game set. The final score on this Sunday in Washington, D.C. The Padres 8 and the Nationals 1. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios. Welcome in to our Jamul Casino Resort Padres post-game show. Hey, player, when it comes to giving you what you want, Jamul Casino Resort isn't playing around. It's way more than a place to game. It's a place where you can stay and play in every possible way. Jamul Casino Resort, the player's place. Padres improved to 54-45. Nationals dropped to 39-60 with the defeat. The Padres win 2 out of 3 from the Nats to begin this 10-game road trip, and now they head to Miami for the second leg of this trip beginning tomorrow. A lot to do on our post-game coverage. We'll hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt coming up in a little bit. Full game recap for you. We'll also go inside the clubhouse, probably have some additional post-game reaction from Padres players as well. But the Padres did exactly what they needed to do in this series finale, and that was take an early lead. That was take pressure off their pitching staff in their bullpen. And baseball can be a funny game. Yesterday in the postgame, today in the pregame, we talked about the Padres not doing a lot offensively against 2 not great starting pitchers. On Friday, it was Mike Soroka. They got 1 run in 5 innings. Yesterday, it was Mitchell Parker, who came in with an ERA north of 5. They got 2 runs in 6 innings. And today, they face the best the Nationals have to offer in that rotation in left-hander Mackenzie Gore, who is in the midst of the best year of his early career, and they jumped all over Gore in this game. Scored 4 runs in the first inning right off the bat on the bogey grand slam. 4 batters in, 4 runs. Then they got 1 more in the first inning, a 5-run opening frame. They got 1 more in the second to make it 6-0. 2 in the third on an Elias Diaz 2-run home run against Gore to make it 8-0, and the Padres were off and running. So against the guy who is certainly the best out of the bunch as far as the starting pitching the Padres faced this weekend in D.C., they did big-time damage against him. They really hit Mackenzie Gore today on a day where Gore clearly did not have his best command, did not have his best stuff. So a great job by the Padres jumping on Gore, then piling on after that. Hey, you take an 8-0 lead through 3 innings. In all likelihood, it's going to be a pretty good day at the yard. Nick Pivetta, excellent in this game. And I thought Jesse and Tony put it perfectly during the broadcast. You don't always see starting pitchers get a big lead, and in this case, Pivetta had 5 runs behind him by the time he took the mound today. You don't always see guys get out there, especially after a really lengthy first inning where they're sitting around for a while, not in the game yet. It is, I wouldn't say common, but it's not out of the ordinary, certainly, to see a starting pitcher come back out after having to sit through a long inning and not have it and take a while to find that command. And Pivetta was not that today. He was great once again. He continues to be the best starting pitcher for the Padres in 2025. 6 innings, 1 run given up, 3 hits allowed. He struck out 5 and walked 1, and continues to just be absolutely terrific. Took an early 5-0 lead, became a 6-0 lead, became an 8-0 lead, and ran with it today. Exactly what Nick Pivetta needed to do. And you zoom out, he's just been great as of late. His last 5 starts, a 0.57 ERA, as Pivetta lowered his season ERA to 2.81 in 2025. So he continues to be just terrific. So great job by Pivetta, great job by the Padres offense, scoring early, piling on, and then really an important aspect of this game. You know, Alec Jacob, you may have forgot that he was called up right before the All-Star break because we haven't seen him, but he comes in, gets the final 6 outs of this game. Brian Hoeing pitches a scoreless 7th inning. And the reason I bring up those 2 names is to highlight the names that we didn't see today. And that's a good thing. We didn't see Estrada. We didn't see Morejon. We didn't see Adam. We didn't see Suarez. We have talked so much, and it was one of my keys in today's game, and it was a key yesterday as well. Today's key, one of them, was score more. Padres did that. A key yesterday was create separation. And the reason I said create separation yesterday was because you've got to give this bullpen a break. You do not want to run these guys out there each and every day. There have to be more games where you can win, but not have to rely on the high leverage arms in your pen. And look, we know the deal. The Padres have played a ton of close games this season, but thankfully today, this was not one of them. And a credit to the offense. They jumped on Gore and they put this game away early. To be honest with you, it's exactly what the doctor ordered for this offense, for this team, for this bullpen. And it also helped the Padres to, I would say, a much needed series win in this sense. This Nationals team entered this series 20 games below 500. This Nationals team entered this series not playing good baseball at all since the start of June. They had fired their manager. They had fired their general manager since the last time we saw him in San Diego. And quite frankly, you saw this weekend, the defense, the sloppiness, the shakiness with the pitching. Hey, this is a team you can't lose 2 out of 3 to the Nationals right now out of the break where you know, you're the Padres and you're trying to get to the postseason. I mean, just can't happen, and it didn't happen. Thankfully, the Padres won 2 out of 3. So today felt like a big game in that sense. Again, not that your season is over if you lost today, but you don't want to lose 2 out of 3 to this Nationals team. So Padres take care of business today. They tacked on against Score. They attacked Score early, put the game away early. Pivetta, great. Some other guys in the bullpen got their turn, stayed away from the big four and Morejon, Suarez, Adam, and Estrada. And all in all, a nice series win. You say, thank you very much, Nationals, for your competition in 2025. And you head on to Miami for the second leg of this 10-game road trip. When we come back, full game recap, all the radio highlights. Padres win it 8-1 against the Washington Nationals on this Sunday. More after this on our Jamul Casino Resort Padres postgame show on the Padres Radio Network.
Tony Gwynn Jr.
Our Jamul Casino Resort Padres post-game show continues on this beautiful Sunday here in San Diego. A beautiful game for the Padres today as they win this series against the Nationals. They take 2 out of 3 in D.C. Final score, Padres 8 and the Nationals 1. Sam Levitt back with you inside our San Diego studios. Military Sunday on the Padres Radio Network is presented by your San Diego County Toyota dealers. Every new Toyota comes with Toyota Care, no cost, maintenance standard. So you get peace of mind standard. We'll hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt coming up in a little bit. We'll also have some, in all likelihood, additional post-game reaction from inside the Padres clubhouse as the Padres improved to 54-45. The Nationals dropped to 39-60. Let's recap how this one went down in our nation's capital.
Which moments determine the outcome of today's game? We'll paint you a picture with our game highlights on the Padres Radio Network.
National starter and former Padre Mackenzie Gore did not have his command early on. He issued a leadoff walk to Fernando Tatis Jr. Luis Arraez singled. Gore walked Manny Machado to load the bases. That brought up the X-Man.
First pitch, Xander swings, sends it in the air to left field and deep. Lyle is back on the warning track.
Yes,
at
sir.
the wall, gonna go! And slam Xander Bogaerts. Second slam of the season for the Padres. They have both come this weekend, and with nobody out in the top of the first inning, the Padres lead it 4-0.
Xander Bogaerts' 8th career grand slam, his first as a San Diego Padre. 4 batters into the game. Padres had a 4-0 lead. Padres weren't done. Jose Iglesias hit a 1-out double. Jake Cronenworth was next.
Cronenworth, a late defensive swing, and he grounds it up the third baseline. That's a fair ball. Iglesias rounding third. He'll come in to score. Lyle, a little bit of a bobble. Cronenworth into second base, and the Padre lead is 5-0.
The Padres putting together a 5-run opening frame. They made Mackenzie Gore throw 37 pitches in the first inning. Padres then got more in the second. A couple of 2-out base runners for Gavin Sheets.
And Sheets swings, lines it off the glove of Abrams, and it trickles out into center field. Machado will come in to score, and Gavin Sheets, an RBI single to make it 6-0. As Abrams went up to try and make the catch, got leather on it, but couldn't squeeze it.
Padres had a 6-0 lead through 2. They then got more in the third. Jake Cronenworth hit a leadoff double, his second double of the game. Later in the inning, it was the number 9 batter, Elias Diaz.
On third, 1 out. And this one hit in the air deep down the left field line. Elias Diaz towards the pole. Gonna go! Home run number 5 for Elias Diaz. A 2-run shot here in the third inning, and the Padre lead is 8-0.
An 8-0 Padres lead, so Nick Pivetta had a big lead to work with, and he was great in this game. 6 innings, just 1 run allowed. That was on a solo home run, allowed to Riley Adams in the 5th inning. But aside from that, Nick Pivetta's final line, 6 innings, 1 run, 3 hits. He walked 1, struck out 5, 87 pitches, 60 for strikes. So Pivetta did exactly what a guy should do when you're given a 5-run lead before you touch the mound. He pounded the strike zone in this game, and really from that point on, not a whole lot to tell you about. Brian Hoeing got out of a jam in the 7th inning, kept it 8-1. Alec Jacob, first time we've seen him in a while. He worked around a 1-out single the 8th inning. He would end up working around a leadoff double in the 9th.
0-1 pitch is grounded back to the mound, stabbed by Jacob. He runs it most of the way, and the underhand flip in time. And a scoreless bottom of the 9th inning as the Padres pound Mackenzie Gore and the Nationals here this afternoon, 8-1 to take the rubber game of this 3-game series.
Really nice win for the Padres. They win the series like Jesse alluded to, and the Padres improved to a record of 54-45, and that's how they will enter Miami for the second leg of this 10-game road trip. Final totals here today for the Padres: 8 runs, 13 hits, 1 error. For Washington, 1 run, 6 hits, and no errors. The winning pitcher today, Nick Pivetta, who improves to 10-2. He continues to have a great year, lowers his ERA to 2.81 on the season, and a tough outing for Mackenzie Gore, who saw his ERA balloon to above 3.5. He gave up 8 earned runs in 2 innings and a third. Gore drops to 4-9. When we come back, we'll hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. Much more to do on our Jamul Casino Resort Padres post-game show. Padres win it 8-1 today in D.C. Our coverage continues after this. Our Jamul Casino Resort game show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios. Final score, the Padres 8 and the Nationals 1 as the Padres win the rubber game of this 3-game series. A lot to do on our post-game coverage. We'll hear from today's starter, Nick Pivetta, who was great. Nick went 6 innings, allowed just 1 run, 87 pitches. He's been so good as of late, a 0.57 ERA in his last 5 starts. We'll dive even deeper into what Nick Pivetta did coming up a little bit later, and we'll continue to wrap this one up. May also hear from some other Padres players. Again, just a quick recap of this game. Padres scored early and scored often. They would score 5 runs in the first inning against Mackenzie Gore, who did not have his command early. They loaded the bases, nobody out. Cleanup man Xander Bogaerts stepped in, hit a grand slam, his 8th of his career, his first as a San Diego Padre, and boom, Bogey has a blast, and the Padres had an early 4-0 lead. They would score 5 runs in the first inning, 1 more in the second, 2 in the third on an Elias Diaz 2-run home run to make it 8-0. And from that point on, the story was Nick Pivetta going 6 strong innings, bullpen, 1 inning from Hoeing, 2 innings from Alec Jacob, and that was the story in this game. Padres put it away early, and they get it done as they win the rubber game of this 3-game set. Let's go back to Nationals Park in Washington, D.C., and hear some post-game reaction.
Let's pull up a seat in the manager's office and hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt, served up by Sin Lee Food, where fresh meets flavor. Find farm fresh produce, bold Asian spices, and gourmet ingredients at 4665 El Cajon Boulevard. Sin Lee Food, the cook's Asian resource.
Mike, how big was that? Not just to jump on them, then to sort of secure it by adding on.
Yeah, just stole 2 of the times I wrote it add-ons. So, yeah, it was huge to get off the gate like that, controlling the zone. Toddy with the big bat to start it, worked a walk. Louis, nice stroke through the middle. Manny, same thing. I think 0-2 to 3-2 to walk, and then Bogey jumped on him. And so that was nice in and of itself, 4 spot. But then didn't let him breathe, Hosey right back at it, Crony. So we're able to add on after that. And then we added on in the second, which was, really, we continue to do that. We add on. It's watch out. This team's going to be, very, very, even more than dangerous than it already is. But, you get into the second inning and, here we go, boom. A couple base hits and Manny good at bat, Bogey good at bat, Sheets good at bat, 2-out RBI. And then, Diaz is doing homer to add on in the third. So would have always liked to have had more, after the third. But, it was a really good display and a lot of good baseball today.
That San Diegans have seen. What have you, besides the production, enjoyed most about it or seen?
Yeah, it's probably pretty accurate. I think it's gone on for a while, though. I think we talked about even before some of the results took place, but seeing a lot of quality, consistent quality at bats, driving the baseball to all fields, taking his walks, working his walks, getting good pitches, putting good swings on them, all parts of the field. Like I say, driving through the baseball, just looks under control, balanced, everything's smooth. Running the bases really well. He's grabbing a lot of bags. He's right there behind Toddy. And he's playing, really since, the end of May, he's playing as good a shortstop as anybody in baseball. So, we're getting an all-star version of Bogey.
You have a game like this where you're able to come out swinging, like you said, especially after a night like last night. It was a long game, kind of slow to get going. What does that mean?
Quite a bit. It says a lot about the guys. I mean, listen, guys show up every day, but rain delay last night, guys battled their tails off, played like we talked about, excellent defense, took a lot of tough at-bats. We made a lot of good swing decisions, didn't catch anyone with that big hit, but, came up short. And, it's how guys respond. It's show up today, and if we'd have won, we'd have been hungrier. And, we clearly didn't, and it means, okay, we got to go. We got to figure this out. And guys showed up with the proper amount of, get after it kind of attitude. And Pivetta was good on the mound with the shutdown innings.
What was frustrating most about what happened today?
being able to make quality pitches. I think he got better as it went, got to get into his rhythm. But the fastball was good, sweeper good, threw a cutter in there that got in on the lefty. I think it was low. He mixed his pitches through strikes and kept them up balanced.
Not only use Iglesias, but he's come through for you and been not just because you always have been able to put him in there on defense, but now to have him he's good for a hit or two. How big is that?
Huge. There's a lot of, he takes a professional at bat, does what the game calls for. Today it was more to start something, drive guys in, hitting runs in play a couple of nights ago. He's been able to get a bunt down. He's just a really, really smart player that knows how to win, and he does things to help you win on both sides of the ball. So he's just he's a nice piece of our team.
How do you like seeing Bryce out?
I liked it. Not at the expense of Jackson, but I thought Bryce did a nice job. Went in and got a couple hits and made a nice. He's a good center fielder. Did a nice job. He's a good player. He's done a nice job since he's been back with us, and also, what deserved to be mentioned that Wadey. He goes in and hadn't played in a while, and Bryson right, and he goes up. Of course, the ball's going to find him and makes two really, really nice, sneaky, nice plays that kept our bullpen and kept everything in check. Yeah, he's going to be fine ultimately. Just stomach virus that didn't allow him to get a lot of sleep and not a lot of compromises hydration. So he was pushing like crazy to get in there, but we made a decision that if we needed him late, he may be available, but stay away from him, get him ready for tomorrow. We'll announce him here directly. Yes, ma'am.
It seems like things haven't totally synced up optimally so far this year. Now it feels like maybe you guys are on the verge of tapping into what you're fully capable of. Does it feel like that? That the best version of you guys is in the pipe pretty soon?
Yeah, I think that. I'd say that a high percentage of what we do has been synced up. The pitching's been good all year. The starters we figured that out, and the guys have done a nice job stepping up. That we're kind of newer. Vasquez, Colwick, Bergert, that group. Pavetta's clearly been great. Cease looks like he's really starting to take back off again. I expect him to have a really strong last third of the season. The defense has been, we talked about this. We had a miscue today, but we basically have led the league in fielding percentage, for the last almost 2 months. So our defense has been exemplary. Our base running has been excellent. So, almost every facet of the game, we've been very, very good. So the last part to sync it up that, is important that I alluded to earlier is the offensive component, the consistency of the at-bats, the consistency and quality swing decision. And I do feel like we're in a really good spot and trending in a great spot.
That was Padres manager Mike Shildt after this 8-1 win for the Padres against the Nationals on this Sunday. Sam Levitt back with you inside our San Diego studios as we continue to wrap this one up. We'll step aside. When we come back, we'll hear from today's starting pitcher, the guy who got his 10th win of the season, that is right-hander Nick Pivetta. We'll also talk more about Xander Bogaerts because I thought an interesting question there. Is this the best we've seen Xander as a San Diego Padre this most recent stretch? I think there's probably an argument without diving too deep into the numbers to say that this might be. He's been really, really good as of late, and he delivered the biggest blow of this game. A grand slam in the first inning set the tone. Padres cruise to an 8-1 win. We hear from Nick Pivetta and much, much more after this. Padres win it 8-1 on the Padres Radio Network.
Baseball season.
Padres win the rubber game of this 3-game series in Washington, D.C. Final score, the Padres 8 and the Nationals 1. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios. Welcome back to our Jamul Casino Resort Padres postgame show, brought to you by the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players' Place. We'll hear from today's starting pitcher, the guy who picked up his 10th win of the season, Nick Pivetta, in just a little bit. We'll also have our full look at the out-of-town scoreboard, our play of the game, our catch of the game in a moment, relief pitcher of the game, and may also hear some additional post-game reaction from inside the Padres clubhouse. I do want to take a moment to talk about Xander Bogaerts, who clearly had the biggest swing in this game. Grand slam, 8th of his career, first as a Padres, second grand slam of this series for the Padres. They had one from Manny on Friday night in the 9th inning to put the game away, and one in the first inning today to really bust it open early against Mackenzie Gore and the Nationals. Padres would go on to score 5 runs in that opening inning, take a 5-0 lead, then a 6-0 lead after 2, an 8-0 lead after 3. You zoom out a little bit, you look at what Xander Bogaerts has done, and I could go back even farther than this, but I'm going to select a 25-game stretch. This is going back now to June 19th, 25 games. In that span, Xander's batting .382, 7 doubles, 3 home runs, 8 RBIs. He's stolen 3 bases. He's got a 1023 OPS. He's got a 562 slug and a 461 on base percentage. Xander Bogaerts has been really, really good for this team as of late. And oh, by the way, he's playing a really good defensive shortstop as well. So this has been great to see. It was a great swing today to see him elevate and turn on one and to get it out. It seemed at times in Xander's Padres career like getting that slug, that OPS, that pop, a better word for it maybe. It's been hard to come by at times, but as of late, that has not been the case. He's been great. He really has. So all the credit to Xander Bogaerts. Again, 1023 OPS in the last 25 games. And you can go back, if you look at the numbers, even farther. He's been pretty good for a while now and had a big swing today. So look, if Xander Bogaerts is going to be the Xander Bogaerts of Boston, the Xander Bogaerts more like the guy you expected when he signed here, that's a really big deal for this team. It really, really is. And he's been great as of late. He really has. And again, it's not just the offense that's been a lot better, but he's also playing great defensive shortstop. And he's also stealing bases. I mean, he's gone 16 for 17 in stolen base opportunities this season. In 2023, he stole 19 bases. That's his career high. He's on pace to blow by that right now. He's 16 for 17. So, look, you got to love what Xander's doing right now. The offense, the defense, the base running, really good stuff from Xander Bogaerts, and hopefully it continues for Xander. I've said it time and time again. I'm a Xander Bogaerts fan. I root for him. I think he works hard. I think he brings a lot of good to this team. He's won a couple of World Series. If Xander's going to play like this, that's a really, really big deal for this team and this organization. So good stuff from Xander. Happy to see him hit a grand slam today. And we may hear from Xander coming up in a little bit. Don't hold me to that. But our audio correspondent, Nick Danucci, says maybe we'll get that. So we'll let you know if we hear from Xander. I can guarantee we're going to hear from Nick Pivetta in just a minute. So stay tuned for that. First, let's hear today's catch of the game.
Which defensive play had the biggest impact on today's game?
He is at the wall, leaps up, and he makes the catch.
This is the catch of the game.
Gonna hang a star for Jackson Merrill.
Reeled in by Anthony's Fish Grotto La Mesa, celebrating 80 years of seafood excellence.
1-2 grounded to third base, backhanded nicely by Machado, throws from foul ground in time to get him. Beautifully done by Manny, and the end of a scoreless second inning.
Nice play by Manny Machado, 5-3. Put out Manny, moving to his right, throwing across his body from behind the third base bag. Helped Pivetta through 2 scoreless innings. That was our catch of the game. Manny Machado making a nice play to end the second. Speaking of Nick Pivetta, he continues to be great. No different today. Took an early lead. He was ahead 5-0 before his feet ever touched the mound today. Goes 6 innings, 1 run given up. Came on a solo home run to Riley Adams in the 5th inning. 3 hits, 87 pitches, and quite frankly, more of the same from Nick Pivetta. Picked up right where he left off in the first half of the season. His last 5 outings, Nick Pivetta's got a 0.57 ERA, 31 innings and a third. And he struck out 36, and he lowered his season ERA to 2.81. There's no doubt about it. Nick Pivetta has been the Padres' best pitcher this year, has been their best starting pitcher this year. And I think it's important to remember that when the Padres signed him in spring training, it was a really good signing. We all liked it. But I don't know that we thought, A, he would be this dominant, and B, that he would essentially be their ace. I mean, part of that is because of the injuries to Darvish and King, and Cease obviously has had an up and down year to this point, although was much better on Friday night. Hopefully that's a sign of. But for Pivetta to step forward, put together this type of year, this type of run, considering what the Padres needed when Darvish and King went down, what a job by Nick Pivetta. He continues to be great, and you have a ton of confidence in him when he's out there. You really, really do. And again, 6 innings, 1 run given up today. He was outstanding once again, had an early lead to work with. And, you know, the thing you look at when a guy has an early lead, a big early lead like he did 5-0 when he took the mound for the bottom half of the first inning, the thing you like to look at is, does he pound the strike zone? Because there's no reason not to when you've got that big of a lead. You can pitch free and easy. You can pound the strike zone. And you look at it, 87 pitches today for Pivetta, 60 were strikes. It's a great percentage. Pounded the strike zone, walked 1, did a great job. Nick Pivetta today in D.C. Let's go back to D.C. inside the Padres clubhouse, and here's some post-game reaction from today's winning pitcher. Picked up his 10th win of the. That's Nick Pivetta.
You've been pounding the strike zone a lot. I know pitchers say after they get the big lead, that's, you know, hey, I got the freedom to do that. But like, did anything change for you, or what is your mindset when you go out there 5-0?
No, I think that's my mindset. You know, it's hats off to the hitters, you know, bogey, grand slam in the first, and then continuing to, you know, tack up runs against a good pitcher who's pitched really well this year. You know, it's just what we are and who we are. You know, I was able to get a good lead and then just be able to attack the strike zone, get ahead of guys, and just try to get them to put the ball in play and get back in the dugout as soon as I can.
You get kind of pumped up, though, seeing your team pull out to that early lead?
Yeah, I think it's more just keeping the emotions in check rather than just getting too amped up, too fired up, and then walking guys. I think it's just kind of keeping things under control, like it's like attacking the strike zone, getting back in the dugout as soon as possible, and just, you know, just continuing to pitch.
Do you feel like we're working specifically well for you?
I think for me, everything was working pretty well. I think my mechanics were a little bit off today. Didn't feel quite right, but, you know, I think able to, you know, get my sweeper, get my curveball in for strikes, and then also I felt like my cutter was pretty good today, so I was happy with that, and then use my fastball sparingly.
You're throwing the ball with just even more conviction than past years this year. That just seems like every time you going out.
I mean, it's pretty obvious. The writing's on the wall. It's my better year. You know, I'm pitching really well this year, better than I ever have. So I think it's just like managing it. You know, when you get gifted a game like today, you know, you just try to manage it as much as you can, and you just go ahead and just tack the guys, try to put them on their heels as much as you can. You know, get through innings and just allow the, you know, even though we're having long innings, which is great, you know, try to make it as quick as possible while they're batting.
Nick, not many people get to 10 wins 3 out of 4 years. What does that mean to you, or what does it say about what you've been able?
I'm a little more objectified when it comes to wins because, you know, I think a lot of pitchers can have great games and not get a win. So I think it's just more about just how many zeros and how quick I can get in, how less walks I can give up, you know, just how much I can pound the strike zone. And if a win comes. But for me, it's just continue to pitch, throw up zeros, and do my thing.
That was today's starting pitcher, Nick Pivetta. Good stuff from Nick, and great job by him. 6 innings, 1 run, and he picks up his 10th win of this 2025 season. Let's tell you about today's relief pitcher of the game.
Which pitcher entered the game and slammed the door shut? This is today's relief pitcher of the game, presented by David P. Shapiro Criminal Defense Attorneys. When your freedom and future are on the line, You need the best arm in the pen. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com.
Our relief pitcher of the game today, we'll give it to Alec Jacob. Did a good job today. 2 scoreless innings, had a big lead to work with, but you know what? Got 6 outs, 32 pitches, and did a real nice job. His first major league appearance since May 24th. Remember, he had been called up before the All-Star break, but not been used, and it's good to see Alec Jacob in there, because the Padres were up by a lot, and they went to him. They stayed away from all the high leverage guys, the fearsome foursome, and Estrada and Suarez and Adam and Morejon, and they brought in Alec Jacob after Brian Hoeing pitched the scoreless 7th inning. Good stuff from Alec. 2 scoreless innings, 2 hits given up, did his job, and like the little intro there says, he shut the door in this 8-1 win for the Padres against the Washington Nationals as the Padres win 2 out of 3. When we come back, we may have some additional post-game reaction for you from inside the Padres clubhouse. We'll also have a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard. We'll have our play of the game. Might squeeze in a phone call or two before we go. Final score, Padres 8 and the Nationals 1. Our post-game coverage continues after this.
You're listening
Our Jamul Casino Resort Padres post-game show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios. Final score, the Padres 8 and the Nationals 1 as the Padres win 2 out of 3 from the Nats. We'll have a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard coming up in a little bit, but first things first, Padres jumping all over Mackenzie Gore today. The former Padre, of course, Mackenzie going from San Diego to Washington in the Juan Soto deal back in the summer of 2022. And Gore, to his credit, he's putting together, entering today, the best year of his career. Came in with right around a 3 ERA, but it was pretty clear early on, top of the first inning, that Mackenzie did not have his best command. He walked Fernando Tatis Jr. to start the game. He then gave up a single to Luis Suarez. He then walked Manny Machado. So right off the bat, 3 batters, Bases were loaded. Xander Bogaerts batting cleanup today, stepping to the plate, and the X-Man provided today's play of the game.
The line between winning and losing can be razor thin. Which play was the difference between victory and defeat? This is today's play of the game, presented by Bill Howe Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
First pitch, Xander swings, sends it in the air to left field and deep. Lyle is back on the warning track. At the wall, gonna go! Grand slam, Xander Bogaerts. Second slam of the season for the Padres. They have both come this weekend, and with nobody out in the top of the first inning, the Padres lead it 4-0.
Xander Bogaerts, a grand slam for the X-Man. His first in his Padres career, the Padres' second grand slam of the series, like Jesse alluded to, and the 8th grand slam of Xander Bogaerts' career. Great moment for Xander, put the Padres up 4-0, 4 batters in to today's game, his 6th home run of the season, and that got the Padres off and rolling against Mackenzie Gore today. Again, they would put up 8 runs against Gore in just 2 innings and a third, and that swing, no doubt, our play of the game, the grand slam from Xander Bogaerts in the first inning. Padres had an early 4-0 lead, and then Nick Pivetta did the rest. They added on one in the they got one more in the first inning to make it 5-0, one in the second, 2 more in the third, the Elias Diaz home run, and then Nick Pivetta going 6 strong innings, bullpen, 3 scoreless innings between Brian Hoeing and Alec Jacob, and that was that. Padres win it 8-1. Let's go back to D.C. inside Nationals Park and hear from the man who hit the grand slam. That's Xander Bogaerts.
Xander, how big for you guys to come out, maybe especially like last night, missing some opportunities to come out, but no doubt in this game.
Yeah, I mean, he came out a little wild. Took advantage of it. I think a lot of guys were aggressive. Probably wasn't as sharp as he normally is, but yeah, it was good.
How big was it also to get like a big margin? You know what I mean? Just kind of, all right, cool. Don't have to be stressed in the late innings. Don't have to worry about,
Using our bullpen, the guys that tend to throw every day. So no, it's a good game all around and nice series win to start the second half.
You were looking for fastball first pitch.
Not there though, but I kind of thought he was going to throw a fastball. He was just walk Manny, so I feel like he wanted to get. I mean, I take a lot, so maybe get into the zone and then run to his off speed. So it was good.
I saw him last month. How was what you saw today different from then?
I didn't play that day, but I think the second time I faced him, he started throwing a lot more off-speed pitches. I think the first time to this time, we swung a lot early. We were aggressive, so we changed his plan, but just wasn't sharp as, I don't know if it's the All-Star break or something, but he wasn't as crisp as he normally is.
It seems like you've been particularly locked in this year. What's working for you? How do you feel about just going forward the last couple months here?
Swing at strikes, and keep working and keeping the same routine. And I know we have a good team, and I know it's time that we have to play some really good baseball. We have a tough stretch coming up and big second half, so hopefully we can get there.
How excited are you to go through that with this group these last 2 months and chase everything you're going after?
I mean, everyone's pulling for each other, and as you said today, like having those guys in the bullpen, in the back end, like the guys that throw every day, I mean, we tend to normally have close games, but having a big one, a wide margin, it was nice for those guys to just sit back and relax.
That was Xander Bogaerts after today's game, after his grand slam. Padres win it 8-1, and I said it early on in the post-game coverage today. That is one of the really nice things about the Padres breaking this game open as early as they did, and Pivetta being really good, was that, again, you didn't have to use Estrada or Adam or Suarez or Morahone or even a Yuki Matsui, even a Wandy Peralta. You didn't have to use anybody like that today because you had a big lead. Hoeing, who has not pitched a ton, came in, scoreless inning. Alec Jacob, who has not pitched since he came back up to the major leagues, comes in 2 innings, and you give your bullpen, which has carried you so often, a breather, a real breather today. So that was a very good part of today's win as the Padres win 2 out of 3 from the Washington Nationals. A lot of action around the major leagues today. Let's take a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard.
Let's take a trip around the bigs to highlight the scores that matter most with our out-of-town scoreboard. Presented by Jensen Premium Beef Patties. Always a hit for grilling.
We do have a number of finals already today around the major leagues. Let's get to those first. Red Sox beat the Cubs 6-1 at Wrigley. Guardians beat the A's 8-2 in Cleveland earlier today. Royals salvaged the series finale against Miami 7-4. The Royals win it in Miami today. Mets scored a run in the bottom half of the eighth inning to beat the Reds 3-2 in New York. Yankees win the series against the Braves today. They win the rubber game as they win 4-2 in Atlanta. White Sox beat the Pirates 7-2 in Pittsburgh. Angels beat the Phillies 8-2 in Philadelphia. Blue Jays won a 10th in a row at home as they beat the Giants today 8-6. Games going on right now, 5 of them. Orioles and the Rays in Tampa Bay. Orioles 5, Rays 3 in the 9th inning. Twins lead the Rockies 7-1 in Colorado in the 9th inning. Mariners ahead of the Astros 2-0 in Seattle in the 4th inning. Good pitching matchup there. Hunter Brown against Brian Wu. Brewers and the Dodgers are tied at 3 in LA in the 5th inning. D-backs lead the Cardinals 5-1 in Arizona in the 5th inning. And one game yet to begin. Sunday Night Baseball. It's the Tigers and the Rangers in Arlington. 4 p.m. start time in that one. And that's a look at the out-of-town scoreboard in its entirety on this Sunday. As always, if you missed any portion of our post-game coverage, you can go back and listen to all of it on the Inside San Diego Baseball podcast with Sam Levitt, available on the Odyssey app or wherever you find your podcast. You can also go back on the 97.3 The Fan YouTube channel and watch any portion of our post-game coverage there as well. Taking a look ahead to tomorrow's game. First pitch tomorrow in Miami as the Padres begin the second leg of their 10-game road trip. Series opener in Miami, the first of 3 games between the Padres and the Marlins. First pitch tomorrow, 3:40 p.m. Pacific time. Our pregame coverage will begin at 2:40 p.m. from inside our San Diego studios. As far as the pitching matchup tomorrow, the Marlins have announced their starting pitcher. They will throw the young right-hander, 22-year-old Yuri Perez, for them tomorrow in Miami. As far as the Padres, we have not received official word on who they will throw tomorrow. That has not been announced by the club as of this moment. So right now for the Padres, from what I know, TBD. And for the Marlins, right-hander Yuri Perez. And stay tuned to Padres.com, to your apps, to your 97.3 The Fan social media accounts. And so we'll be sure to pass along who the Padres will start tomorrow, what the rotation is for the series in Miami when we know. Taking a look at the final totals today for the Padres in the rubber game of this series. 8 runs, 13 hits, 1 error. They left on 10. For the Nationals, 1 run, 6 hits, no errors. They left on 8. Winning pitcher today, Nick Pivetta, who improves to 10-2. Losing pitcher, Mackenzie Gore, who drops to 4-9. Time of game, 2 hours and 46 minutes. And the crowd at Nationals Park in Washington, D.C., 21,996. Once again, first pitch tomorrow, 3:40 p.m. in Miami. Our pregame coverage begins at 2:40. Until then, for our great studio coordinator, Bobby Sharton, and our great audio correspondent, Nick Danucci, in Washington, D.C., I'm Sam Levitt saying so long from inside our San Diego studios. Again, the final score today, the San Diego Padres 8 and the Washington Nationals 1. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a great rest of your Sunday.